millions of Americans hitting the polls yesterday for a handful of pivotal primaries, including key races in North Carolina, Arkansas, and Texas.
Doug Lazader joins us live from Washington with the results. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, everyone. A lot of races to talk about here, but let's start with the big headliner race, and that was this Texas Senate contest that attracted an enormous amount of attention and money. On the Democratic side, James Tallarico defeated Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett in that hotly contested primary. In his victory speech, Tallarico talked about leading a movement.
This movement is about whether the people will hold the power in this state and in this country. We launched this underdog campaign 6 months ago in my hometown of Round Rock, Texas. And since then, tens of thousands of Texans have shown up to rally with us in every corner of the state.
Crockett, meantime, cited voting issues in Dallas and said that, in her words, people have been disenfranchised. Now, we don't know yet who Tallarico is going to face. The Republican race is going to come down to a runoff in May between Senator John Cornyn and State Attorney General Ken Paxton in what has already been a bruising primary. A few other races. Also in Texas, State Representative Steve Toth defeated Congressman Dan Crenshaw in the GOP primary. Shifting out of North Carolina, former Governor Roy Cooper picked up the Democratic nod for a now open Senate seat. He'll go on to face former RNC Chairman Michael Whatley, who won the Republican primary. In Arkansas, as expected, Senator Tom Cotton easily won his primary. For Democrats, that went to Hallie Schaffner. And, you know, you look at that big race in Texas. One thing to note, I mean, that's a statewide Senate contest, obviously. The last time Democrats won a statewide race in Texas, 1994. Back to you guys.
Yeah, they thought Tallarico would be better general election candidate. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Hello. What? Okay, good. It was very calming hump day. It's a very chill hump day. I'm used to like a jam, Jerry. I'm used to like a banger, Jerry. By the way, it's like way too hot in the studio. We have a hot show for you today, a spicy show for you today. Maybe it's because I'm drinking my blackout coffee from my from my wooden mug here, that we are a little toasty and a little spicy in the studio. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a locked in and amazing show for you. Some wild results last night from Texas. Let's rock and roll. Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, Jasmine Crockett humiliated in Senate election, and our audience had something to do with it. I can't take it anymore. Whew, okay. Too hot in the studio. All right, too hot in the studio. There we go. All right. I have been chugging my blackout coffee this morning, so get ready. Jasmine Crockett blacked out yesterday, probably from hitting the martini bar at her losing party. She is now politically homeless, out of a job, and ladies and gentlemen, we are celebrating here, as is Dan Crenshaw, neocon, and somebody who very much lost sight of his constituents' desires and needs. Dan Crenshaw losing his primary race. Brandon Herrera going to a runoff, as is Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton's been on our show. Wesley Hunt's been on our show. Anybody but John Cornyn we'd be happy with in the Texas Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Rick Scott on the program today, along with Representative John James, running for governor in Michigan, a critical race. Bill Gates will be called by the House Oversight Committee in the Epstein investigation. We'll see what happens there. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. As I have mentioned twice now, I have a piping hot full cup of blackout coffee. The weather in Florida goes like kind of wildly from very like chill and brisk to hot. And so you're not exactly sure where you're going to land in all of that, ladies and gentlemen. If you're drinking piping hot blackout coffee that's made right here in Florida, then no doubt you will have at the very least the energy, if not the coolness, to perform your job. Blackout coffee is made by people who love this country, unlike Jasmine Crockett, and unlike so many of the people that we're seeing right now who are, I don't know, it's a weird vibe right now. And I'm going to get to it off the very top here, so let me save that. I drink blackout coffee because it is coffee made by Americans, for Americans, made by hardworking Floridians, made not too far down the road from where we broadcast. And they're partnering in marking the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Blackout Coffee is celebrating this year with new roasts, limited editions, and some very exciting releases. So, ladies and gentlemen, get your Blackout Coffee today. blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use the code Benny for 20% off your first order. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Benny to support American jobs. Okay. Let's see. There are so many funny memes. It's actually what I was loading up for the show. Klein, do you have the funny memes? Do you have the funny memes? I need the funny memes that I've sent to the chat. I want the Jasmine Crockett Waffle House meme. That's the one that I consider. That's the one that I think is the most important. It's Jasmine Crockett as an AI, and she's walking in her Waffle House uniform. Yeah. We're going to celebrate here because we had a small part in Jasmine Crockett's political destruction. She lost last night to James Tallarico. Democrats rigged an election again, and now Jasmine Crockett is screaming that the election. This is a classic. What is it? Chuck Schumer, Donald Trump rigged the election. This is the Chuck Schumer line. Jasmine Crockett screaming and shrieking that the election was rigged. Oh man, it was an exciting night, and it was something that obviously we're proud of because we called out Jasmine Crockett for being a fraud. A year ago, approximately, we went to Jasmine Crockett's district, and we ran a wild afternoon through her district, explaining that Jasmine Crockett is a fraud. That in spite of how much love that she gets from the corporate press, in spite of how much love that she gets from in the liberal media, she is the flavor, certainly, of the week, that Jasmine Crockett is not who she says she is. That Jasmine Crockett is not even from Dallas. She's not from Texas. She's not even from the hood. Jasmine Crockett is, in fact, from one of the single nicest, leafiest, richest, poshest suburbs in all of America. And that Jasmine Crockett is somebody who, and again, you're going to see this in St. Louis, it's wild, lived a life of extreme privilege. She lived a life of overwhelming support from the white communities that she comes from. She learned how to play the flute in one of the most audacious and auspicious and expensive private day schools in the country. This is a $35,000 a year school that she went to from pre-K through high school. Then she went on to Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee, also an elite private institution. Then she went on to the Houston College of Law. She spent millions of dollars total in her education, and just so that she could play a hood rat on MSNBC and wander and walk through Congress like this. Jasmine Crockett, of course, famously in her there you go. There you go. So tell me we have the Waffle House version. Please tell me we have the Waffle House version. That was in my timeline this morning. Hey, Alex, I know we can get it. This is what Jasmine Crockett decided to spend. No. There's one with AI with her wearing a Waffle House uniform. No. I can't believe I didn't send it. It was in my timeline this morning. Oh, it's so funny. The memes of Jasmine Crockett are popping off this morning, and I'm here for them because, again, and we just want to say thank you in humility here. Again, we were a part of this. Well, here's one of them, at least, guys. Here's one of them, at least. There you go. There you go. And Dan Crenshaw losing as well. What does it say exactly? You know, what does it say exactly about who we are as a movement, about what is happening right now in the country? And I think that there's like something that is actually quite profound about what's happening here. Well, there you go. Okay. Thank you. Here we go, team. Thank you. The people that stop having when you stop having fun, that's when it all dies. Okay. And we're like doing our level-headed best to continue to have fun on this program, even through dark times that we are living in. And we do. There you go. That's pretty good. Oh man, there's the walking. It's just the one of her walking. It's the one of her walking down the halls of Congress, and she's wearing a Waffle House uniform. I don't know why this is the. I don't know why the angle here. The angle here is that she's going to immediately work at Waffle, but it just works. It just works perfectly. Frauds lost. I think that's the major thing that you got to take away. That's a major thing you got to take away here. And it's why we have like a take on what's going on in the world today and what this show is all about. And we don't pretend to know everything or to understand all of the wild and dynamics and geopolitics, but like we're going to be who we say we are. And when you have a population that has access to so much information and so much capacity to fact check, they don't want to be lied to. You have so much capacity for information and for synthesis, and it's happening faster. I mean, it's like the point of access to information happens faster and quicker than any time in human history. And so it's like insulting for people to get lied to. And it's harder and harder for them to take it. And it creates now a kind of remarkable moment where authenticity and truth champions everything and is above all. And it's at a premium right now, living out your values. And we've lived out our values publicly, myself, as this show carries on, like through trial and triumph and heartbreak. The show is for my family. All of this is for my kids. I just want a stable country for them. I don't want liars in office. I don't want frauds in office. I want to focus on our American future, on the future of children here in this country. Again, we live out our family life publicly because I want to project that for people to see, because that is a real and authentic and the most important experience you can have. It's the greatest motivator you can possibly have. I'm not here for high-minded lectures. I don't think I have it in me this morning, quite frankly. I'm a little under the weather, but that's what lost last night. Whether it's Crenshaw or whether it's Tony Gonzalez, who's going to a runoff with our friend Brandon Herrera, or whether it's Jasmine Crockett, the American voters are going to sniff out. It's the singularity. The singularity has finally happened. Like just a short while ago, we had John McCain and Mitt Romney running as our Republican nominees for president. And that was a lie. They weren't Republicans, not in the mold of what they professed on the campaign trail. They were very, very much, and they've proven this, of course. John McCain, no longer with us, but they've proven this, that they were members of something that is not even remotely closely associated or connected to the Republican base. Say what you will about Trump right now. And I think I'm just going to get it off my chest. I voted for Trump 3 times. I'm not going to abandon President Trump. I love President Trump. I want this administration to succeed. There are things I don't agree with. You've heard me rage and rail over the Epstein files. I don't like forever war. I've been wrong before. I'm not going to abandon Trump. You take the good Trump with the bad Trump. I have a right to disagree with things. We have a right to work stuff out. I have a right to have my own instincts be wrong up front, you know, when it comes to this stuff. But at least, damn it, the man's authentic. At least the guy, like, I mean, again, he's been talking about bombing Iran and going to war with Iran for years, way before he was president. No mercy for terrorists, you dumb bastards, was tweeted 15 years ago. And it's been pretty upfront. I mean, he bombed Iran last summer. They've been pretty like forward about what their plan was here. Why have we been able to cover it on the show since the beginning of the year? Like what the military buildup was doing. It's been pretty obvious. And on the level, I mean, you might not like it, but I don't like the alternative. I think the alternatives are so much worse. And I'm not going to abandon my principles. And I'm going to authentically not violate my own values here on the show. I'm never going to lie to you. I don't like forever war. I don't like American troops dying. It's the single worst, most horrific thing. I could barely function when I saw those first death numbers. It made me very sad. I was profoundly moved by it. One of those men are from Iowa. Put up their photos, please, right now. It could be a good time to remember them. One of the soldiers lost yesterday, that was announced yesterday. 4 lost, 6 total. One of them was from not too far from where I grew up. Please put up the photos. Yeah, thank you. And so I want to remember them, and I want to acknowledge the cost of this. And I want to encourage those in the administration to explain what and why and for what purpose we are doing, you know, why this Iran war has to happen. I can also admit that I have been wrong in my instincts and that I don't know everything. And I wish that there were more broadcasters and more people with audiences that just straight up did that, like approach these things in humility. Because we don't know everything. And sometimes you just got to roll with the punches. We want to remember, backline, thank you. We want to remember, please go backline, to the tweet. We want to remember Captain Cody A. Cohork, First Class Noah L. Tejans, First Class Nicole M. Armour, and Declane J. Code. Sergeant First Class, and Captain. For the soldiers that were announced deceased by the Pentagon. They were in Kuwait at that installation that we watched get bombed. It was horrific. It was terrible. And it breaks your heart. And I, you know, as like the world wishes to talk about this, and we wish to like get quite, you know, frustrated about this ourselves, I think it's quite frankly critical to be honest with people, and this time more than any time, about what we are doing and why we're doing it. And I'll tie this back to the results yesterday in Texas, because I think that this is like certainly is a historic moment for the Trump administration. It's a moment that of course I'm doing my best to not overreact. I honestly want to watch things play out just like we did in Venezuela. Because in Venezuela, my initial instinct there was, wait a second, we just destabilized one of the largest countries in South America. What's going to immediately happen now is there's going to be a humanitarian crisis, and 38 million Venezuelans are going to come and wash our shores. And we're going to have now a further criminal immigration crisis from one of the poorest third world communist countries on earth. And that, of course, didn't happen. And in fact, the results in Venezuela have been remarkably good and positive, no doubt, for the American people. And for all of the peoples of like the surrounding area, and also for the geopolitics of it all. Strangling out our actual enemies finally seen clearly is China, an ascendant China, and dominating our own hemisphere. And we've now since kicked China out of Panama. We've now since ended multiple Chinese spy contracts throughout South America. Multiple countries in South America have flipped and gone populist. And so obviously you can be wrong about these things, but you need to be cautious and you need to be calm. And most importantly, I mean, again, you need to administer a dose of humility in all of this. If you can't be humble before American deaths and the kind of like massive onslaught that we've seen happening in the Mideast, the destabilization, the wanton loss of life, civilian and otherwise, then there's something wrong with you, actually. I'm sticking with Trump. I'm not turning on the guy. Again, I voted for him 3 times, and I've disagreed with him before. And that's normal, and it's good, and it's actually how you create like the kind of strength that you need in a movement. And you don't get anywhere by just lying all the time. This is what you see in Texas. The repudiation in Texas is remarkable. Whether it's Crenshaw or whether it's Jasmine Crockett, what you saw last night was that those who are inauthentic, like Tony Gonzalez is running against Brandon Herrera. Brandon Herrera was on our show. I'm sure we have a clip of it, but I want to show you why we have to have Brandon Herrera win. And if we don't, then please grab one, Alex. Because this dude was just on our show, and he's awesome. He's a YouTuber. He's got a big 2A community behind him. It's like just one of those like all-around American badasses. He's running against this guy who was cheating on his wife. His name's Tony Gonzalez. He's a Republican. And he's like pretending to be a family values Republican. And he's totally cheating on his wife with one of his staffers. Apparently like incredibly abusive to his staffers, to the point at which the staffer actually commits suicide because of the abuse. It's horrific. I'm sad that there's even a runoff here. Here are the results of that race last night. I'm upset that there's even a runoff at all, but there is. Herrera did win in the overall and all-out vote totals. But the way that Texas goes is that if you're close enough, if nobody gets, I believe, over 50%, then you go to a runoff. And that's the type of repulsive inauthenticity and the betrayal of the base that is like a massive warning sign. Now, that's like a huge example. John Cornyn is another example. Let's go ahead and check in on the John Cornyn race. John Cornyn versus Paxton versus Hunt. Now, you know that Wesley Hunt has been on our show. Ken Paxton has been on our show. It's a little bit unethical, but I endorse both of them. Because I just don't like John Cornyn. So Wesley Hunt did an admirable 14%. Paxton and Cornyn split 40%. Wesley Hunt has to now go out and aggressively campaign with Ken Paxton against John Cornyn in a runoff. Look at that. John Cornyn losing here in Texas. This is a loss. John Cornyn's been in office for 7 terms in the Senate. It's crazy. John Cornyn is like the number one guy to raise his hand whenever Democrats bring up a grab a gun bill, a attack a Second Amendment bill. He's the first guy to run in line to do it. The first guy to go out to the TV cameras and betray Donald Trump. So Texans say no. Screw you. Dan Crenshaw. Also primaried. Dan Crenshaw. Let's go ahead and look at these results. Primaried and defeated. Dan Crenshaw. Somebody who obviously is deeply disliked by the Republican base. You can see here, Crenshaw blown out Crenshaw, 40% to 56%. What is this? Well, Dan Crenshaw was constantly voting to send as much money to Ukraine and Israel as humanly possible. He was constantly out lecturing Republicans. He said he wanted to kill Tucker Carlson. If you ever met him, he'd effing kill him. That's an exact line. Dan Crenshaw constantly advocating for neocon policies and forever war. A cautionary tale for the Trump administration, obviously, to wrap this thing up, put a bow on it. And there's some wild news this morning, at the historic moment, actually, this morning from the administration. We torpedoed our first battleship since World War II. It's wild. Like, it's fascinating to watch. Don't set yourself on fire over it. It's fascinating to watch what's going on in the world today. And then Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico. This is the big one. These are the Democrats. And the Democrat primary results showed over 50% for James Tallarico, Jasmine Crockett getting 45%. Authenticity, connecting with your voters, delivering results, not being a lying fraud, that actually won the night. Again, on both sides, people are just sick of it. People have had a bellyful of this.
That is actually what they are fearful of, is my authenticity, because it rings true with every single American. You know, no one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress.
Maybe because these people, they are crazy, because they always talk about how Christian they is. Yeah, I don't know how many of them on that side are getting divorced because they getting caught up sleeping with their co-workers, staffers, interns, all the things.
On-campus mailboxes, and at that time, my school hired the Cochran firm. And there was a lawyer who graduated from University of Houston who was assigned to me.
You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I want the American people to know that when you stand up to a bully, you win. Do not back down. Do not bend.
And I'm gonna be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out, all right?
But at the end of the day, I am who I am, and I am authentic.
All right. I can't believe we haven't found the Waffle House one. That's fine. We'll keep looking. It's my fault for not sending it. I swore I sent it. Okay, all right. Whatever. Just too much news this morning. Too much going on in the world. We're like really happy about this result. We're frankly wanting to celebrate the fact that Jasmine Crockett is now screaming about stolen elections. Here we go. Listen to this. Here's her reaction.
It's already stated. We encourage each and every one of you to remain resilient. We cannot allow this type of behavior to be rewarded, because so long as they know that they can win, even if it means cheating, then they will continue to do it.
There you go.
So I am asking you, I am begging you to make sure that you go ahead and figure out where it is that you are supposed to vote. Stand in line, wait in line.
Okay. Jasmine Crockett in her celebration party speech last night. These elections rigged. Rigged. Here we go.
So that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So, I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it
Listen to
won't
this.
be
Listen to
until
this.
tomorrow.
Listen to this.
So, I love y'all too.
Okay,
Thank
listen.
you so
Listen.
very much for being here.
She called the election rigged here in her speech. She called the election rigged. The Jasmine Crockett to Donald Trump. When is Jasmine Crockett going to get an orange spray tan and start getting like dyeing her hair blonde and doing like a poof? Like the Jasmine Crockett to Donald Trump pipeline is happening in real time. It's amazing actually to watch. I'm sure we can AI that. Give me a Jasmine Crockett as Donald Trump. Okay, so Jasmine Crockett. So listen to the way listen to this. This is why you lose.
We all know why.
I think we all know why.
I want you to enjoy yourselves.
Enjoy yourselves.
I won't be back tonight because I
won't
no
be back
idea
tonight
of when we're going to get results. And
I have no
fully
idea when we're going to get
anticipate
results.
It won't be until tomorrow.
I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow, says Jasmine Crockett. That's the Jasmine Crockett from last night. Here's the Jasmine Crockett from 1 month ago.
Baby, because these people, they are crazy. Because they always talk about how Christian they is. Yeah, I don't know how many of them on that side are getting divorced because they getting caught up sleeping with their co-workers, staffers, interns, all the things. Yeah, you ain't got to believe me. Just go Google. You'll find some of it. I'm telling you. And the wives is being messy and petty. They putting it in the divorce. I'm like, ooh, that's got to be true because your lawyer would know that they going to lose it if they...
See if you can spot the difference. It's subtle. It's subtle. But she goes from legal assistant to Real Housewives of Atlanta real fast. And it's why people say, it's why people like that lose. Inauthenticity lost. People can smell a liar. When you hear people lie, when they're not living out their values, I constantly rail, frankly, against conservative influencers who, preach family values and don't practice it. Well, like people who, you've seen this plenty of times played out on the political landscape, people who are constantly trying to appeal to the better angels and who are themselves devils. It happens all the time. I mean, it's like, dude, it's God's hypocrisy and sense of humor, I think. It's to humiliate these people quite publicly. People can smell a fraud. They can smell someone who's lying to them. You can sense it. You can feel it. You can hear it. It rings in your ears. Jasmine Crockett was one of the worst of them. Dan Crenshaw, John Cornyn, Tony Gonzalez. I mean, this is a big shift that happened last night. You have these incumbents losing, these entrenched incumbents who've been in office for race after race, year after year, term after term. John Cornyn, I think it's his 7th term. He's going to runoff. That shouldn't be happening. Dan Crenshaw has been in office, I think. He's been elected for 4 different terms. That's a decade. Dan Crenshaw lost. Jasmine Crockett lost by double digits. She was the darling. People hate a fraud. Your values are either real and you live them out and you practice them. And if you're doing it, and what's wild is that if you're doing it on a national stage, especially in the modern day, the old book doesn't work. This is Rubio. The old world is dead, right? The old world's dead. And so who's taking on the Republican in the Senate race? This guy named James Talarico. James Talarico is going to paint himself as some little church boy. He looks like a Boy Scout. He looks like just one of these, I don't know, like kids on the package of the Oreo cookies. He's a real goofy looking guy. But he has some of the most radical and some of the most hysterical views on Christendom and on God. And he's constantly asked about this. It's wild. This guy is a absolute and total vicious radical and is a very, very dangerous individual. Listen to this. God is non-binary. Get a load of this.
Masculine and is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
Oh, man. Okay. Trans people need to have abortions. Here we go.
Before we go further, I want to acknowledge
look at him up on the pedestal
our trans
here
community
in a church.
needs abortion care too. Defending trans Texans is something we have to do every day.
Never go for a retard.
Mary, Mother Mary. I fear even playing these kind of clips. I feel like we'll curse the show by playing such blasphemous clips such as this, making the abortion argument using Mother Mary. This is the Democrat candidate for Texas Senate. Here we go.
But I say all this in terms of, in context of abortion, because before God comes over Mary and we have the incarnation, God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean, the angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings. But that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom. And to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus. And so that's how I come down on that side of the issue.
The most brutal that Christ was, this could be argued, but the way that I read the Gospels, and I just read the Gospels as a simple Christian, the most brutal and forceful and like kind of scary that Christ was, other than flipping tables in the temple, and we're not exactly sure what he said there exactly through all that, but we know what he said about harming children, harming innocent children. Let those innocent children come unto me, he says. Harm a hair on their heads, and it's better if you take a giant boulder and just commit suicide in the ocean, like let the boulder crush you down to the bottom of the sea. So for you to sit there and to use Christ's Virgin Mother, Mary, the Holy Mother that God chose as the vessel for his son to come into this world as an argument for abortion is heresy. It's blasphemous. He's on the Joe Rogan show. I mean, I'm surprised there wasn't a lightning strike. It's some of the worst stuff I've ever heard. I mean, it's not only bad theology, it's like straight up demonic. Say what you will, ladies and gentlemen, about the importance of these issues in the state of Texas, and they're important, of course, from a moral perspective everywhere. But the most important issue, I would argue, in the state of Texas, while abortion is a critical one, would be the open border. Obviously, this is important because Texas has the longest border with Mexico. That border is totally and completely operated by the cartels. The cartels have proven that they are a militant organization, a terrorist organization in the last couple of weeks, willing to attack and shut down entire towns and cities, strand Americans, attack Americans, obviously. And what does Tallarico think about that open border? I mean, as a senator, this would be critical. Like, do you want Texas to have an open border or not? Here is his stance.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
Ooh. Okay. So we're going to be doing a number on Tallarico. We may need to head on back down to Texas. We will be heading to Texas actually next month. And this guy cannot reach the Senate. No way. No way. Again, as we have stated many times, we don't want John Cornyn to win. We will now back fully. We endorse Ken Paxton and Wesley Hunt on the show. I see no problem with that. Whatever. But there's no way that James Talleyrand, like that ideology, that worldview is repugnant. It's sick. It's damaging to the soul. It's the opposite. It's the inverse. It's the polar negative of what actual Christianity is. And it's not Texas, ladies and gentlemen. So lock in. We've seen some very positive trends yesterday. Some very good things happening. And it's going to be a wild 2026. It's already been insane. And we have some historic things to talk about. We'll talk about them with John James in just one moment. He's running for governor in Michigan, and critical as well. First, American financing, ladies and gentlemen. American financing is the tool that you can use to get out of high-interest credit card debt. Hundreds of thousands of Americans are in high-interest credit card debt, millions of Americans actually. But there are tens of thousands that can get out using American financing, and they do use American financing. It saves them bundles every single month by reconsolidating that debt, using their home mortgage, making sure that the equity in their house is being used towards the reconsolidation of all debt to get debt down from usury rates in the 20s down to low 5s. It's great for our listeners. We hear feedback on this. There's no upfront fees. There's no obligation, and you can save today. Give American Financing a call. It's America's home for home loans. 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219. AmericanFinancing.net/Benny. Okay, we have some historic footage that I'd really love to talk about with veteran John James, who's joining the show live right now. Here we go. John James, very interesting results in the Senate race last night, and Jasmine Crockett. I just want to get maybe perhaps your takeaway on this. Our takeaway is that inauthenticity is something that the electorate is going to repudiate. They're not going to like being lied to, and they don't like frauds running for office. Your thoughts?
You know, the people have a very highly attuned BS meter, Benny. This is why the advice that your mama gave you when you were first going to school, be yourself, it always applies. This is the reason why President Trump is our president for a second time. Because he's been himself. He's somebody who loves this country. He's somebody who's willing to take a bullet for this country. He's somebody who's willing to make himself uncomfortable for this country. And he's authentically himself. And as a result, the American people have rewarded him. I think that he's won at least twice in the state of Michigan. And as a result, he's in a position to keep us safe and help make our nation strong. That's the best example. I think that when you're looking around the country, people are sick and tired of the lies. They're sick and tired of being told what to think by liars and cheaters, and Jasmine Crockett is among them. From what we've seen in Texas, the people are taking their government back, and this is something that is long overdue. The good Lord established a relationship between himself and man, and it was through our sin that we screwed that up. America is special because we recognize that we are endowed our rights by our creator, not our government. And popular sovereignty is something that's woven deep in our morality, in our psyche, because choice is what the good Lord gave us. And so protecting that by having your voice heard and protecting our election integrity is something that I believe is God-given right, not given by the government. And I applaud everybody getting out there. But I also want to applaud you, Benny. You just mentioned something very, very important. You mentioned, hey, we got behind both other candidates, one of them, my West Point classmate, Wesley Hunt. But now that Cornyn is in the race and it looks like he may prevail, you're getting behind him. And that's something that we all need to be aware of, is that ultimately you cannot have these Talaricos, you cannot have these leftist extremists. We have to get on the same page and we have to fight as a team because our country's at stake. So bravo.
Yeah, well, this guy, like, the more that you look at, I mean, it's amazing, like, that they can go and they can pretty up and, I don't know, whitewash him into looking like a little Boy Scout when he's actually far more radical than Ilhan Omar. He's calling God trans. He's saying God is trans, and he's using the Virgin Mother Mary to make an abortion argument. And I mean, that's heresy. That's I mean, as just a very simple Christian, I don't consider myself even a good Christian. I just do my best, right? But like in my reading of the Bible, no theologian, Congressman, but I mean, that is blasphemous.
I'm a sinful man. I am saved by grace because Christ loved me first. But when I see things like this, I feel such a tremendous sadness for this man. I feel such a tremendous sadness for the people who he's deceiving. And it's heartbreaking, but it's not surprising because we were told this. You may recognize, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but having itching ears, they shall heap themselves teachers in accordance with their own lusts. These are things that we were taught in Timothy, 2 Timothy, of what would come, what would be the signs of the end. And when you're looking at what's going on in the Middle East, when you're looking at these false prophets and false teachers that are here to lead people astray, you're right. Jesus says, suffer the little children to come unto me and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven. He understands that these little ones are to be protected. And those who would equate their own political gain and twist the scripture so blatantly, nothing short of heretical, as you mentioned. And frankly, we should all pray for him, not because we're any better. We're all sinful, but because we know better. And so we should all pray that he be uplifted, that he see the light, because I truly believe that if the Lord can save my sinful soul, he can save his as well.
I did want to ask you a couple of questions, obviously, about, and you brought it up there, what's going on in the Mideast. That this is something that has caused, obviously, a considerable amount of consternation. I think, obviously, in very, with people with outsized megaphones and audiences, sort of screaming and yelling and like breaking on this. And I want to get kind of your thought process as a veteran yourself about the arguments in favor of bombing Iran and where to go from here. Like, where would you like to see this conflict resolve?
Yeah, I'm a war veteran. I graduated West Point in 2004. I became a Ranger qualified Apache pilot and flew 750 hours combat in Operation Iraqi Freedom. I hate war. Nobody hates war more than someone who's been. But there are some things worth fighting for. There are some things that are worth dying for. And our families, our country, America itself is something like that. When you're talking about a regime that says death to America, and this isn't new. This didn't just pop up when Trump got in office. This has been happening for 47 years. The Iranian regime has been killing Americans for 47 years, and they have had designs on it for longer. What would it take? They admitted in the negotiations that they had enough enriched uranium to make a bomb, not just a bomb, but 11. And yeah, they may not have had the missile capability, but they have containers that they can put on a container ship and get it to the ports of the United States. They absolutely have methods that they could deliver it into Israel or to our other allies. They absolutely have the ballistic missile capabilities and drone capabilities to kill Americans. Would Democrats and those who oppose the president on this issue, that oppose the president to keep our nation and our service members safe, would they wait for a nuclear bomb to go off in New York or DC or Detroit or Los Angeles? Would they wait for our service members to be sitting ducks when the Iranians have already articulated their will to hit us first? President Trump, I know, have better information than those of us who are on Twitter to make decisions to keep us all safe. And if he made the decision to act in our own self-defense by taking out a regime that has threatened us for decades, then I not only support, but I applaud his efforts, and I will continue to. This is not about half measures. When your enemy says they're going to do something, you'd better believe them. And for somebody who's been on the two-way live fire range, I recognize that peace is a two-way street. You cannot negotiate with terrorists. You have to make sure that when you are going for peace, you have someone who will respect that as well. The Iranian regime did not, and they paid the price.
I'm wary to ask you about a huge Navy accomplishment as somebody who's obviously a West Point graduate and a very proud Army veteran. But perhaps to close out the interview here, I gotta put up a historic moment from today. Just broke live during the show is the sinking of a battleship, an Iranian battleship, by a U.S. submarine. It's wild footage. It's first time since World War II that a torpedo has taken out a enemy battleship. And it's remarkable to see, I guess, spinning the oldies, a little bit of nostalgia. Never got to see footage like this during World War II. And wow, your thoughts, your takeaway thoughts here, Congressman.
Well, my first thoughts is I would be remiss if I went any further without offering my sincerest condolences to the families who've lost their sons, their daughters in this most recent conflict over the past 5 days. We are grateful for your sacrifice. Your nation loves you, and we will be here for you. We can never replace them, but we can honor their memory by living in a manner worthy of their sacrifice. I would also like to articulate President Trump and Secretary of War Hegseth and Secretary of State Rubio are doing things that we never got from the Biden and Obama administrations. We are holding our adversaries accountable, and they have clearly articulated the objectives of this conflict. Number one, Iran cannot have a nuke. Number two, they will not have a Navy. And number three, they will not have missiles capable of striking our allies and Americans. When I was in combat, before I went out on a mission, I always made sure that I briefed my men on mission, end state, and objectives. And this is what has happened. We have clear mission, end state, and objectives, and the administration has told us that this should last another 4 to 6 weeks. Now, it remains to be seen if that will happen, and they have warned us that we may lose additional service members. But as we do this, this is the time to come together as a nation to support the efforts to keep us and our interests safe. Again, my heartfelt condolences from me, my wife Liz, and our family for those who've lost their loved ones. As somebody who's been in combat before, I recognize those sacrifices, and as somebody who's buried his friends, thank you for your sacrifice and your service.
Godspeed, an absolutely perfect message there, and we hope that you carry that message directly into the governorship of Michigan. Godspeed, Congressman. Thank you so very much. Everyone follow the Congressman right here. He's got 300,000 subscribers here on X, a beautiful family, and a true American patriot.
Thank you, Benny.
Thank you, John. Very tight turnaround here with Senator Rick Scott, a Navy veteran, who I'm sure is quite proud today, jumping on live right now. Thank you, Senator. I'm just gonna start off at the top. Again, whatever your thoughts are on the Iranian war, it makes my heart brim a little bit to see a American torpedo sink an enemy battleship. And this footage, again, remarkable. Did you ever think that as a Navy veteran you'd see footage like this ever again?
Oh, well, you hope you don't, right? You hope our enemies are not dumb enough to put themselves in a position. So, but I'm glad the Navy did this. I'm glad they put out the footage. I want to thank every service member for their service and sacrifice, especially the ones that the families of the ones that lost their lives, including we have one Floridian, Cody Cork, who lost his life, and so my heart goes out to his family. So, but Trump's doing the right thing. I was in classified briefing yesterday, and it's clear if we had not done this, at some point there would be an attack against our service members and possibly attack in the United States. They've been killing us, as John James said. They've been killing Americans for 47 years, and hopefully when this ends, the killing of Americans will stop.
So what will be the end here exactly? You were in a classified briefing. I know that they've been briefing the Senate. I know there was a Gang of 8 briefing. What has been the message? Is the message been different from what's been said in public about what the end goal here should be for the American Armed Forces?
Well, no, it's not different in classified briefing. The end goal is Iran, the government of Iran, will never have a nuclear weapon, ever, 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 ever. Number two is we're going to destroy their ability to launch ballistic missiles. So the government of Iran will never be able to launch ballistic missiles again against us, our servicemen and women, against our ally Israel, any of us. So that's the goal, and it's going to happen. I would not want to fight the U.S. military or the Israeli military. I think that Trump, he acted, if he had not acted he would have been derelict in his duty. Obama and Biden were. We're in this position because Biden and Obama were appeasers. I mean, Biden gave them, pallets of, it's this craziest thing. People who want chant death to America, he gave them pallets of American cash. Our taxpayer money he gave them so they could go, build weapons and fund proxies to kill Americans and kill Israelis. I mean, what Obama did is it just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. There's a large fraction of the base that is saying, well, we don't want a forever war. We were promised no more foreign wars. We want focus on domestic policies. What do you say to them?
Well, I agree with them. I agree. I don't know anybody who wants a forever war. I think that if you talk to President Trump, Trump hates war. I mean, he hates it, but he also wants to defend Americans. He's not a warmonger and he's not an isolationist. He knows that bad things happen around the world are going to impact American citizens, and they have for decades. He's actually the one guy that's willing to he's said, okay, we're going to fix these things. We're going to get rid of Maduro. We're going to destroy the government of Iran's ability to hurt Americans. But I agree with them. Trump doesn't want a forever war. None of us want a forever war.
And so what would peace look like here? What would be the end result?
What would be nice is Iran has a government led by the people of Iran that says, let's be an ally to the United States. We're a good friend. Stop destroying the Middle East. Stop trying to come into Latin America to destroy Americans. So the goal would be the leaders of Iran say, we want to build our own economy so our families have the opportunity for prosperity. I mean, think of how many Iranians, one, have died in the last month from the protests, but just have had no opportunity their entire lives because of the Ayatollah. Just no opportunity. And so they've had to figure out how to scrape by with a despicable government.
Yeah, I don't think, you're not going to get any simping for the Ayatollah over here. We just want Americans to be safe. Certainly here at home, you've already mentioned that a Floridian did die in combat. Also an Iowan. I was raised in Iowa. I now live in Florida. It hits me close to the heart. We've also seen a Islamic terrorist attack here on American soil in Texas. And that concerns me. I wonder, Senator, have you gotten any briefing about heightened security here, potential sleeper cells, or attacks on the homeland?
Well, we know we're at risk. We know that Iran has been trying their best, one, to kill our president, and also harm Americans. So the Democrats they're derelict in duty right now by not making sure Homeland Security is funded. So right now, what we know is whether it's Homeland Security employees, TSA employees, Secret Service, Coast Guard, ICE, they're not getting paid because the Democrats don't want them to get paid. So some are being furloughed. So does it make you feel safer? No. Do you think you're safer to fly when you know some TSA agents are not working now and for sure they're not getting paid? No. But the Democrats don't care. This is all about politics to them. So I hope to God we don't have another any attack on American soil. But if we do, the Democrats are going to have to look in the mirror and say, was there something I could have done differently? And that's, I can't imagine why you would do that. Don't they love their families and love their states like I love mine?
Yeah, it's particularly cruel to defund DHS during this moment, and we've heard from DHS and from the FBI, and you can just sort of see it, you can sense it, that there's just a sort of a heightened awareness. We encourage everybody to obviously conceal carry. To carry, if you're here in Florida, you have obviously a constitutional right to do that. Just very quickly here before you go, Senator, the SAVE Act. I know that you're a massive proponent of it. It seems insane to me that we are not going to be throwing down all stops in order to get that over the finish line. We heard yesterday that potentially from Ron Johnson that Leader Thune is considering maybe the talking filibuster. Can you give us a quick update on the SAVE Act?
We've got to get it passed. We've got to secure elections. You have to be a U.S. citizen to register to vote. You have to show ID to vote. That's what we have to get this done. And we shouldn't be voting on anything else other than possibly DHS funding until we get this done. So we're looking at a variety of ways. Can we get to 60 votes? Can we add it to a must-pass bill? Is there a way to do the talking filibuster? So part of it is we got to continue to educate our conference to get everybody on board to get this done, because we have to have 50 votes to get, through the talking filibuster to get it done. But Ron Johnson, Mike Lee, and others, we're fighting hard to make sure this happens.
Yeah. Well, that's why I endorsed you for leader, because I know that you had gotten it done already. We're dealt.
This is the most basic common sense. Everybody wants this. That we have to get ahead and solve these problems for the American public. I mean, we have to get this done. And by the way, call every Republican, every Democrat senator and say, you need to support the Save America Act to secure American elections.
So Republicans are going to throw out all the stuff. You think it's going to get done, Senator?
I wish I could say I'm not going to stop until it gets done. But as you know, I'm working my butt off, but there's a few of us that are trying really hard. You really have to respect what Mike Lee and Ron Johnson are doing to try to get this done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. We know we're up against a hard out. We appreciate your time, and prayers for all of our American service members. I know that you are obviously a veteran yourself. A great and it's just a wild day for the Navy today. I couldn't believe that torpedo video.
That was a nice video. I'm very proud of my Navy experience. The sailors that pulled that off. You have to admire the U.S. military people. And by the way, Benny, you should always appreciate people that are willing to put on the uniform, because when you do, you put your life on the line. Whether you end up doing that or not, the commander-in-chief has all the power to decide where you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Scott, Navy veteran here. He has 750,000 subscribers. You should follow him here on X. He is one of the major fighters, a brawler, in fact, for the Save America Act, and one of those people who is just a tactician inside of the Senate who can get it done. And so make sure that we're
going to get it done. We're going to get it done, Benny. We just got to keep focused on it.
Yep, that's right. Well, we're doing our best. I got to tell you, Senator, in my time of doing this, and I've been doing this for a while, for sure, going on 20 years now, I've never seen a single piece of legislation that the Republican base has gotten behind more than this. Not a single one. Nothing.
And Benny, the reason why we have 50 sponsors and co-sponsors, the reason is because of you and your followers and people calling these senators and saying, you have to get this passed. That's why we're in the position we're in. We wouldn't have 50 sponsors right now, but for that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the power of the audience here. The SAVE Act getting passed, and Jasmine Crockett's career is over. Yay! That's what we built the show for. Thank you, Senator. Godspeed.
All right. Bye, Benny.
Call your senators. And if you're calling, use a Patriot Mobile device, ladies and gentlemen. This year marks a critical year for our country as opposition grows aggressive and unapologetic and reaches every single decision that we make. And the decisions you make for which cell phone carrier to use is obviously a critical one. You could put money in the pockets of those who hate you, big tech companies that want to censor you, or you could support the only Christian conservative wireless provider in the world, and that is Patriot Mobile. For prioritized premium access on all three major networks, the same or better coverage than all carriers. Really fast speeds, dependable nationwide coverage backed by 100% US-based customer support, critical. Switch to Patriot Mobile today. Make use of their unlimited data plans and mobile hotspots like I do. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny and call 972-PATRIOT to use the promo code Benny for a free month of service. Don't wait. patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT. Bill Gates has been called in by the Republicans in Congress. Pretty remarkable for a transcribed interview. So I guess we're going to get the same thing that we got with the Clintons. It's been very entertaining to watch the videos of the Clintons. What will come of it? Did Bill Clinton lie under oath? Well, yeah, he did. He said he never committed perjury. But he did commit perjury. He was impeached for it. So I don't know. It's remarkable to see Bill Clinton thumbing through and reminiscing nostalgia bait photos of him in a hot tub. Jeez. House Oversight and Government Reform Committee James Comer is requesting voluntary testimony from 7 additional people. That includes Bill Gates, ladies and gentlemen, along with a number of other of the Jeffrey Epstein co-conspirators or friends, trafficking partners, bankers, business members, and so on. The in-person sit-down transcribed interview, the Oversight Committee is continuing to seek truth. Survivors, all Americans. So they're calling in the ex-boyfriend of Ghislaine Maxwell. My goodness. Okay. What will happen next? This is set to happen in April, and then at the very end of March. Okay. Additionally, White House employees Kathy Rumler and Doug Band are called in. These are Obama, Biden apparatchiks. Very interesting. Catherine Rumler quit her job at Goldman Sachs. She was their top lawyer. These are jobs that were given to her by Jeffrey Epstein. She immediately got a job with the Rothschilds, of course. Jeffrey Epstein used Catherine Rumler and was beloved by Catherine Rumler. Obama and Jeffrey Epstein shared a lawyer, and Jeffrey Epstein helped the Obamas and the Obama administration in their PR. Something that is not being reported out here, something that is proven in the documents. I really wish more people were talking about it, but we have a bigger platform than virtually all corporate media. So we're going to stop complaining and just talk about it. It is a, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be very, very interesting. Kathy Rumler emailed Jeffrey Epstein the very most. She was lavish with gifts by Jeffrey Epstein. Again, she brought in Jeffrey Epstein into the Obama White House in order to run ops for a prostitution scandal, in order to run comms for a prostitution scandal. Document after document after document proves it. So what is it? It's a massive tie-in to the Obama administration, who didn't touch Jeffrey Epstein for 8 straight years. In fact, they empowered him. So, ladies and gentlemen, will be interesting to see what happens next. Obviously, the clip of the U.S. submarine sinking its first warship with a torpedo has hit the internet. This one is, I don't know, you play enough World of Warcraft, whatever you think of the war. And again, I've wrestled all week on this program and in all of our reads and all of our videos and everything. With this, I'm not going to betray the Trump administration. I'm not going to turn on Trump or have some massive crash out. I am going to be pragmatic. We're going to invite on different voices and people to talk through this. We're going to, above all else, especially as the U.S. military members, as they often are in the line of fire and danger, pray for them and do our best to bring quick resolve to this. I think that's what's most critical, right? To support and then to encourage explanation and quick resolve for this conflict. And I think that's what we're going to be using this platform for sure. Pete Hegseth announcing it this morning at time of show that the first time a torpedo has blown up a enemy warship, here we go, since World War II.
In fact, last night, we sunk their prize ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS got him twice. Their Navy, not a factor. Pick your adjective, it is no more. In fact, yesterday, in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there, an American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win.
Well, Hegseth says that there is now no air defenses left for Iran, that there's no Navy left for Iran, that America has absolute and total supremacy over the skies above Iran, I don't think this should come necessarily as a surprise to anyone. This is what the war map looks like. This has been an unclassified timeline of epic fury here. First 100 hours. U.S. missile strike targets, you can see here. Air support superiority all along the Iranian coast and into Iran. Israeli air support over Tehran. U.S. bomber pulses. No Iranian warships in the Arabian Gulf, Straits of Hormuz, Straits of Oman. U.S. submarine sinks Iranian warship. Here you can see the actual battle map itself. You can see the Iranian strikes as well. Always and directly at American bases, of course, that surround Iran. This is a... well, this is a historic hour. Here's Hegseth talking about the skies above Iran and not just the oceans surrounding it. Let's go.
Starting last night and to be completed in a few days, in under a week, the two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. I hope all the folks watching understand what uncontested airspace and complete control means. It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military, finding and fixing their leaders and their military leaders, flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky all day long.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it looks like, by the way. This is what that looks like as of this morning. New round of massive airstrikes in Iran. This is Tehran. I mean, apocalyptic, frankly. It is going to be a war, a grudge match. Who can last the longest? Who can withstand the brutality the longest? There are positive signs. They're back-channeling now. Iran has chosen the son of Ayatollah Khomeini. Of course, I don't know how well that's going to go, but that's going to be the new supreme leader. Will they have anything to lead? Marked for death, Iran's new leader named Khomeini's son, Iranian TV network reports. You know my stance on this. Get Americans out of harm's way as quickly as possible. Solidify and shore up the front as quickly as possible. I don't want forever war. It's going to be very, very bad for the administration. These kind of strategic and very tactical strikes have worked out fine. And I'll approach this with humility. As somebody who hasn't served in the armed forces, somebody who is a Trump supporter, and knows there's a lot going on here that I haven't been read in on. But that's what I want. I want the end to this. I want the end to it as quickly as possible. As we've advocated on this program, as we advocated for on Fox News last night, like, you have to be able to tie your foreign policy objectives to domestic policy. That has been the failure of every administration in my lifetime, starting with Ronald Reagan. In my life, that's the years I was born, the Reagan years. That has been the greatest and supreme failure. What you are doing abroad, does it actually help us out at home? Yes, we should have a foreign policy. Yes, that foreign policy should be for the enrichment, the greaterment, the expansion of the American empire, the fulfillment of the American people's betterment of our lives, That should go with immigration policy, as we railed and ranted about yesterday. That should be every policy, but especially foreign policy. You need to be able to be at home domestically explaining why and how that helps out people here. So that is my push. Can that be done here with Iran? Yes. Yeah, it can. Totally, it can. Obviously. But it needs to be done anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, at times of war and during times of great upheaval, gold is a very, very wise investment. Advantage Gold is the company that I partner with. It is a company that has proven, certainly when it comes to my own personal investing, and with people that I know, to be it's really, really solid, able to help in these sort of complicated conversions. They actually aren't that complicated. But then I'm able to also explain with clarity like why gold is such a solid hedge against massive world events, why other countries around the world are stockpiling gold. I say other countries because I'd love to go to Fort Knox. Is Fort Knox full of gold? I don't know. Whatever happened with that? Why didn't we ever audit Fort Knox? I'd love to know. Advantage Gold can flip your 401k, IRA, or retirement account into a gold-backed account today. Advantage Gold is one of America's #1 rated precious metals company. You can get started by texting Benny, B-E-N-N-Y, to 85545 today. You'll instantly get a free gold investment kit. Don't wait. The gold rally is breaking records, and now certainly is the time. Text Benny to 85545 right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Our verse of the day from Micah 7:8. Let's go to the prophets. Do not gloat over me, my enemy. Though I have fallen, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, my Lord will be my light. It's amazing. I've never read through the Psalms, like every single Psalm, and so I'm going through it, and like every single night, I'm like reading 1, 2, 3, sometimes 10 Psalms, but I'm like laboring over it. Like I want to actually absorb all of it, and it's just this constant repetition in the Psalms and in the prophets that like life isn't about, especially the life of a Christian and somebody who serves God, is not about gumdrop smiles and rivers of chocolate and sunshine on my face all day. Like it just isn't. There is pain, there is suffering, there are decisions you disagree with, there are like the kingdoms of the earth rise and fall, and there are times when it seems like your enemy like has the better of you, and you must trust God in those moments. It is so critical to not betray or turn your back on God or your Creator, to run unto Him and to find comfort in Him, the way that my children, when they fall and scrape their knee. This happened this morning. We're learning how to ride bikes. The Johnson households were out this morning. I was a few minutes late for the show, and I apologize. But it was a little bike accident, let's just say. This just is what it is, It's treacherous out there. And you hit the bricks, and you get back up. And the child runs to you for comfort. And that's the way that God designed it. Let those children come unto me. Do not harm a hair on their head. Let God be your light while you are in the darkness, and you will rise. Rise, ladies and gentlemen. March with us on to victory. It is assured. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings, and their dying legacy, media deal weeds. Soon will the Benny Show come to mind, the salt from lives for fun. Be the gold and bring the gun, we sail for #1. Benny Show, come to mine the salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for #1, the biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.